everybody, welcome back to Blue Gypsy Homestead. My name's Louie. If you haven't been here today, and I'm wearing my special chicken shirt, mostly because today's video is basically chicken themed. Sometime around May 9th, I'll be receiving 21-day-old chicks. I'll be raising them for meat, and so I have to build something inside. After about 2 years of trying different things, they just didn't work out. So this year I decided to try something very different. And what I've done is I've actually converted, I guess it's a 1,000-gallon or 1,100-liter tote. And I've converted that into a brooder. So this video is going to focus mainly on how it went from tote and up to a brooder. One of the things I did want to say was that I'm converting this mostly because the inside bladder, the plastic part of the tote, had broken. It had fallen off while it still had water in it, fallen off of its perch, and it smashed. So the top part was smashed. It was no longer good as a tote. That's why I've been able to repurpose it rather than scrap it. Anyway, that's what we're going to do, and I'll walk you through the process. To your benefit, I've sped it up so that you don't have to sit there and dredge through it. So what took about 30 minutes to film is actually compressed down to about 7 minutes. And so tune in, enjoy, and I'll talk to you when I'm finished. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of what's going on here. In the stages, you can see that where I started was with that brooder, not the brooder, but with the tote being in one piece. Now, before I started this video, you'll see that it's in pieces now. It's in 3 pieces, the cages. And the reason for that is because it took forever to cut it. I was using a grinder. Anyway, long story, but it was taking a long time, and I didn't think it was going to add any value to the video if I was to show you. So what you see me doing now is using the bottom part of the cage as a guide to mark where I'm going to be cutting the rest of the, it's called a bladder, but the rest of the plastic interior. And I'm cutting it to be basically level with the cage. I'm doing this because what I need to do is make sure that I get a good closing. It's not a seal that I'm looking for, but I do want it to be able to close properly, because not at first, but after about 2 or 3 weeks, which is about how long they stay inside, the chicks start to gain the ability to fly. And so what I need to do is I need to be able to secure the top to the bottom half, and you'll see what I'm going to be doing in a little bit here. So I go around, and I'm trimming it down. I've actually had to change my blade at one point because it was just not cutting anymore, and that's coming up soon, right there. And so I put a new blade in, and that was nice because then I was able to finish a lot sooner. And anyway, so as we're going along, I'm just trimming it off at this point, and you can tell that the interior of this is very dirty. It's dirty because of the way it stayed outside for about 2 years. That's going to be cleaned up later on in the video. But the key is to get this trimmed off properly. And then, because the grinder didn't do a smooth job, I mean, it could have, didn't do the smooth job of cutting the actual rods, I need to put these pieces of foam insulation, I mean normally used for piping, I put these foam insulations on to work as a cushion so that I can reach over and not get stabbed by this thing. The last thing I want to do, especially in an environment where there are chickens, is get cut, have any kind of injury whatsoever. I mean, it's bad enough But when you're in that kind of a situation where you've got chickens and chicken feces and that kind of thing, there's a lot of germs, and you just don't want to get cut. You can wear gloves. You can wear gloves if you need, and I would strongly suggest it. But the only time I'm going to really open this is when I have to feed them or I have to give them water. Oh, also whenever I have to change the bedding, because the bedding will have to be changed at, well, there are two schools of thought. You can change the bedding every week, or you can probably just add new bedding in every couple of days. The key is you don't want the chickens walking around in their own urine and feces. And this is really important because you don't want the chickens getting sick. And of course, you don't want to get sick because that eventually becomes airborne. So here I am putting on the top, and I'm putting some hose clamps. And those hose clamps are going to be they're being used as hinges. And I'm using hose clamps for two reasons. First of all, it's practical. But second of all, I'll be able to take those clamps off when I need to take this in the house, because the house door, the front door, is only 36 inches wide. And if I remember correctly, this is exactly 4 inches too high to fit in. So I'll have to take the top off to get it through the door. Not a big problem. But if necessary, it's there, and it's a good thing to have. Now, here you see me testing the hinges, but it's still not enough. Okay? Once you open the top, you're still exposed to some sharp edges. And so I've decided to put in a little bit more of the pipe insulation to act as a cushion. Most of the time I'll be working with this from the front. So that's why I'm putting that piece there first of all. Now I wanted to see if I could do this with just one piece, and the answer, as you'll see, is no. Now the reason for that is that those sharp edges, if they're not cushioned properly, will cut up this foam on the bottom. So I'm eventually going to have to put something of a spacer, some sort of spacer, so that the top won't cut the bottom. And that's why, you'll see me clipping off the zip ties. So here I'm putting the second pieces on the top. And these pieces are more to keep the top from slamming into the bottom. Just zip tying them on like everything else. This is not high-tech science. I mean, zip ties will work perfectly fine. I could use, if I wanted to, I could get some more hose clamps. But honestly, the zip ties have done such a great job, and they're actually quite resilient. So this brooder is going to live outside. Not right away, of course, because it's inside to keep the chicks warm. But the brooder itself, once the chicks are finished, will actually move back outside. Okay, so now you've seen how I put together the brooder. It's going to come inside, as I said, and the chicks will be inside for about 3 weeks. They stay inside just until the weather warms up, really. If the weather was to turn really nice before 3 weeks and they were fully feathered out, perhaps I'd move them outside. But those are the two key points. They'd have to be fully feathered out, and the weather needs to be warm. And the reason being is I don't want to lose them. And the cold temperatures are something that they're just not ready for. So as a result, I mean, I could always put a heat lamp in the chicken house, but there's a huge problem with heat lamps in that if they were to fall, the heat lamp has enough heat to actually start a fire. And I don't have to tell you about the tragedy of that. So I'm hesitant. I used to use them, and I can tell you that when I did actually put the heat lamp in the chicken house, there was very little chance it was going to fall down, because I attached it so many different ways that it took me almost half an hour to take it out of there when it was no longer needed. And that's okay. I can easily live with that. Anyway, so again, once it's in the house, then I can pick up the chicks. Day-olds will be here, as I mentioned, on May 9th, and they'll be inside. They'll be inside for the 3 weeks, then go outside, and then for another 5 weeks. And then at the end of 5 weeks, they'll be culled, and that's it for chickens for the year. I'm just one person. I mean, 20 chickens is going to be more than enough. Now, out of those 20 chickens, and I will show you this later on, out of those 20 chickens, very good chance that 10 of those chickens are going to end up being hot packed in pressure canned, basically. And so, the reason being that being pressure canned means that they'll be shelf stable, no refrigeration required, for about 2 years. And I will easily go through them in 2 years, because the chicken is 100% cooked in those jars, and it's fall apart cooked. I mean, there's so many things that we can do with it. Just last night, for example, I made burritos, chicken burritos, and it took no time at all because the chicken was already cooked. I heated it through with some spices, but that's all I had to do. Once that was done, then that's it. Any case, thank you very much for joining me again. I look forward to seeing you again next time. If you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate if you could share the video around, tell your friends about it. It's just one of those use what you've got kind of videos, because I could buy a brooder for the house or build an expensive brooder for the house, but when you're using it 3 weeks out of the year, it makes no sense. If I've got the equipment here, if I've got the pieces I need already, it just makes more sense to reuse what I've already got. Anyway, thank you again. I appreciate you stopping by. Like I said, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. 3 things that'll help us immensely. All right, take care. Until next time, it's Louis. Bye-bye.